Second lesson, something everybody here knows, but I think we have to constantly relearn, is about the extreme inequalities in our world. You cannot but be hit by that as you move from London to Dakar or whatever. And of course, a lot of people don't make those kinds of journeys, but it's there in front of your eyes. Here's the famous Preston curve showing life expectancy against GDP. And I think one of the things I find quite interesting about this curve is that you really only need to get up to, what, $5,000–6,000 GDP per capita to actually realise a lot of the benefits of life expectancy. And then you get into what Alan Enthoven, the health economist, called the sort of flat of the curve, where you spend more and more and more and more, but get rather small benefit, and possibly even no benefit at all. Alan Enthoven argued that eventually this curve begins to turn down, and actually you can see this curve beginning to turn down, and there's the USA spending an enormous amount of money and not getting the benefit it might expect. Unfortunately, these inequalities are getting worse, not better. Here's some data from Michael Marmot's marvellous WHO report on the social determinants of care. You see that everywhere infant mortality is coming down, but it's coming down faster in the world than it is in sub-Saharan Africa. In that same report, Michael Marmot and his colleagues make the point that simple interventions can make a big difference and can happen quickly. And here's some examples of life expectancy going up in over 7 years in Sri Lanka between 1946 and 1953. In South Africa, access to drinkable, potable water caused far more people had this. Poverty coming down quite dramatically in China. Primary school enrollment going up rapidly in Botswana. It is possible with the right kind of investment in the right place to make quite a considerable difference, but you wouldn't want to put that investment into hospitals and doctors. You'd want to put it into other places, which I think we constantly forget. But unfortunately, it's also possible to spend a lot of money trying to do something about health inequalities and not make much of a difference. Here's a slide of the website of the Health Services Journal from just last week here in Britain, pointing out that some £21 billion has been spent trying to reduce health inequalities, but has had really remarkably little impact. And I think it's very, very difficult for a health system alone to do something about health inequalities. As everybody in this audience knows, it needs something much broader. But we need to keep emphasising that point. And I think the potentially really painful thing we have to argue is that we do perhaps need to shift resources from hospitals, doctors and clinical care.